When two figures long known as the closest among BTS members start to seem distant, both physically and emotionally, the question is no longer whether it's a coincidence, but what is truly happening. Jungkook and Taehyung, who for years embodied warmth and an inexplicable chemistry, have now become the subject of concern for the global fanbase. Are they drifting apart? And more importantly, is this distance temporary, or a sign of a deeper relational shift? The cause isn't singular, but a series of moments that feel too consistent to be mere coincidences. From the lack of public interaction, their absence together at various events, to the most striking moment, their non-appearance together at Jin's recent concert. Not only did they not arrive together, but they also weren't seen greeting each other, didn't sit near one another, and had no captured moments of interaction from the fans attending. In a world where every celebrity gesture is intensely monitored, such absence becomes fuel for speculation that's hard to silence. Many fans have conducted deep dives, reanalyzing video clips and photos from various sources, including platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. The pattern shows that in recent months, both have been active individually, yet without each other's presence. Their personal music playlists, social media posts, and public appearances all seem to suggest they've chosen separate paths of communication and existence. Is this a new form of professionalism, or an indication that their emotional closeness has indeed faded? Some fan analysts even tie this change to the personal transformations each is undergoing. Jungkook is now more focused on his global approach as a soloist, while Taehyung leans further into individual artistic projects, including fashion and acting. Are these differing career priorities forming an invisible divide? Or is this a strategy to assert their identities beyond the group's dynamics? On the other hand, there's also the opinion that this phenomenon could be the result of media and fanbase pressure itself. When the public demands their closeness to always be visible and exposed, it's not unlikely that the two have chosen to withdraw strategically to protect their privacy and emotional comfort. But if that's true, why is there no signal to calm fans' worries, or at least to refute the growing issue? What makes this situation even more complex is the fact that neither Jungkook nor Taehyung has ever publicly given any clue about their current relationship. No clarification, no implied support, and no defense from others. This silence, in a world full of expectations and microanalysis, is often louder than words. Because in fandom culture, silence can mean many things: protection, conflict, or even an unspoken statement. But what's worth pondering is, are we truly witnessing a real drift, or merely crafting a narrative based on our emotional expectations? How far can we, as spectators, distinguish between reality and the illusion created from fragmented content scattered across the internet? And more importantly, must every distance always be interpreted as a problem? The event at Jin's concert is only one piece of the puzzle. But if we combine it with the visible pattern over the past 6 months, it's hard to ignore the impression that something has changed. Something that makes a previously organic and flowing closeness now feel stiff, silent, and distant. Even within the group's context, the space between Jungkook and Taehyung appears more evident, both in direct interaction and in the nonverbal signals caught on camera. Of course, there's no concrete evidence yet to confirm that they're experiencing a personal conflict. But the series of recurring indications, along with their absence in important moments as a duo, gives enough reason for the public to question their current relationship status. Is this just a transitional phase? Or is it the beginning of a new direction they're each taking, without one another? As of now, it's all still interpretation. But these interpretations aren't born in a vacuum. They grow from the love, attention, and long observation of fans who feel something no longer seems the same. And amid this uncertainty, a question hangs in many people's minds. Are we witnessing the end of one of the most iconic bonds in the K-pop world? In the flood of social media information, it's important to remember that much of what we see may not fully reflect reality. The information circulating on platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube may carry great influence, but their validity is not necessarily guaranteed. Therefore, as intelligent audiences, we need to keep emotional distance from every viral narrative. We must ask, is this fact or merely perception? Is this a real signal, or just an illusion built from hope and nostalgia? A skeptical and reflective attitude becomes even more essential when emotion starts to override logic. Let's not allow our affection to blur our ability to judge clearly. Because ultimately, human relationships, including those lived under the global spotlight, are always more complex than what a single camera, a single video, or a single article can capture. Yet amid all the noise stemming from this phenomenon, one fundamental question deserves to be asked. Are we truly witnessing a real event? Or are we responding to a narrative deliberately constructed to spark sensation? A backstage performance designed not to explain, but to provoke speculation and steer public opinion. It must be emphasized that all the information currently fueling wide discussion, including speculation about a rift between Jungkook and Taehyung, comes from sources that are not fully verifiable. Video snippets from TikTok, analysis comments from YouTube channels, cropped images from Twitter, and individual opinions on community forums are the main components of the collective opinion. But have we ever paused to ask, are we judging reality or merely analyzing its shadow? We live in an era where social media algorithms wield tremendous power in shaping perception. The most emotional, dramatic, and contradictory content is often the one that gains the most traction. So it's not impossible that the narrative about taekook's distance that now dominates actually grew not from objective data, but from the market's hunger for drama and conflict. The question is, are our reactions as audiences based on truth, or merely reflections of the content we repeatedly consume? The public needs to consider another possibility, that this issue may be a form of distraction, diversion, or even an intentional communication strategy. Was the absence of interaction between Jungkook and Taehyung at Jin's concert a meaningful silent expression? Or was it a staged setup to focus public attention on their absence, rather than on some larger message? To this day, there has been no statement claiming they are in conflict, nor is there confirmation that their relationship has deteriorated. So, where does the public's belief in emotional distance come from? We urge viewers and readers not only to be consumers of information, but also to be wise analysts. Try asking yourself these key questions. Is this pattern something intentional, or just too frequent a coincidence? Who stands to benefit most from the emergence of a narrative about their relationship breaking down? Are we becoming part of an unintentional social experiment, where opinions are shaped by illusions of closeness and loss? A reflective and skeptical stance is greatly needed in responding to this phenomenon. Can we truly understand the real relationship between two people based only on public interactions caught on camera? Is it reasonable to conclude they're at odds simply because they didn't sit next to each other? More than that, we must be honest about our own motives behind consuming such information. Do we genuinely care about their personal relationship, or are we more drawn to the drama that entertains and fuels discussion? This is an important reflection because in the end, the personal relationships between BTS members are not a public stage for us to demand. Well, I end this context. We remind you once again that all the information we present, even if sourced from current trends and discussions on social media, remains within the bounds of interpretation and cannot yet be considered verified fact. Therefore, we urge you to process this information with calm logic, avoid reactive thinking, and refrain from accepting every popular narrative at face value. In the end, the major question worth contemplating together is the closeness we long for from them something real, or merely a collective hope we've projected onto their relationship? And if there truly is distance, don't they still deserve space and privacy in navigating their relationship dynamics as ordinary human beings?